What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What the f happened?
What just happened? I am Dan. This is Julia, and we are here to discuss episode 6 of season 3 of Servant, called Fish. But before we get into that, we just have a couple things that we want to let you guys know about. So, of course, we're having a $50 movie gift card giveaway at the end of the season. All you have to do is subscribe and comment to win that. And if you're like, oh, $50, what's that? Get our subs up. Once our subs get past 1,000, the prizes will go higher, and then 10,000, they're even higher. So support us. We'll hook you up like Mr. Beast. But also, we had this idea, Jules and I, to go down and do a vlog style video when the season's over of the shooting locations in Servant. Since we're in the Philadelphia area, it would be pretty easy. We could do that. And one person so far, Virginia, she says, yes, would love to see y'all make a video like that. So if you agree with Virginia, let us know. I'm not going to have a cap on how many people need to say we should do it for us to do it, because we're probably going to do it anyway. But just let me know, because it'd be something that Jules and I had never done before. I've never done a vlog, and we're interested in it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll probably be very awkward, but we'll see how it goes.
A little backwards this time. We're going to do one comment now and then 2 comments at the end of the video, because this one comment plays a lot into what we saw and some new footage that was hidden last week. And you know what I mean, if you catch my drift. So TNLW says, the lady who attacked Leanne in the tent very much resembled Aunt May, who was also from Bucks County, PA. The man in the tent was the same person who made the symbol on Leanne's forehead, same striped shirt. Good observation. The lady minister is also sus. Very passive aggressive how she acted towards Dorothy. I think Dorothy's rival at the TV station is going to start nosing into Leanne and also find out about Jericho 1's death the summer before. TNLW, thank you. Frequent commenter. I wanted to read that before we got into the actual episode review, because it's going to deal with a lot that we're about to talk about. Mm-hmm. Let's get into it. Episode 6, Fish. So Leanne wakes up from a nightmare. More to come on this later. We don't really know what it's about at the time. You know, we know she was rubbing some blood on her face, but we didn't really see why. And it turns out there was a scene that was not shown on purpose, and they did a great job doing that, because yes, it played off masterfully in this episode. Love this episode. Dorothy tries to console her by saying nothing bad happened, and that made me laugh. That made me laugh.
Me too.
Because something bad did happen. But then Sean, he gets an offer to host the cooking show, Gourmet Gauntlet. This is the same show that he flew to LA and was a guest on when Jericho 1 died. So he's hesitant about it. I think it's bringing him bad omens. I think, part of his seek for religion is to try to get back to some semblance of a normal life and put all that behind him. And that still haunts him, because Dorothy she has no recollection of it. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, you think his hesitance definitely has to do with what happened last time he worked for this show, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can imagine that being asked to put yourself in that same situation would be very triggering, especially after having to process the original situation more or less on your own. I mean, it's not like he can talk to Dorothy about it. He can talk to Julian, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely think that he's just very scared to even leave them all alone for long enough for anything bad to happen.
Yeah. Well, at least this time it's being filmed in Philly, so he'd only have to go during the day and stuff like that. So I think he'll end up taking it, and a little something on Leanne later about that. But Leanne tries to console Sean. She says, it'll be different this time. I'll be here. So, she's implying that nothing bad's going to happen to Jericho because she's here this time. So, but then we get a flashback to the scene that was cut out from last week. So from last week, we saw the Bucks County couple, whatever you want to call them, chasing Leanne. And then it looked like she got into the door, and that was that. But it was brilliant how they showed that was not it. A real struggle going on, and that explains the blood on her head. People thought it was because she fell over, but she was slammed against the back of a tree. So I think that's what was causing the bleeding. They say to her, we know what you've done. We know what you are. I think they're implying about her killing Aunt Josephine. Do you agree?
I mean, that's my assumption. I'm not really sure what else they could be referring to there, but I'm sure I'm probably missing something.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but then Leanne looks into the mirror, tries to convince herself that she's safe now, maybe because she has a band of rebels that will ride or die for her. I'm not going to call them the homeless people anymore. I'm going to call her Leanne's followers, which, by the way, we were right about that. And I'll take credit because that was fun.
I was so excited I had to like pause and text you about it. Like
Yeah,
I was like, yes, we called it.
Yeah.
But just that scene, like the way they just dragged them away and just like knelt in front of her.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get
floored.
to that. We'll get to that part in a second because they did the second flashback scene to show even more. But yeah, man, so well directed this episode. Man, it was great. One of her followers, again, I'm not calling him homeless man again, which I believe to be the leader, the scruffy guy with the dark hair who was kneeling. I believe he's the leader. You know, he was the one that was willing to talk to Dorothy, but then he walked away earlier on in the season. So I'm gonna call him the leader of the Church of Leanne, whatever you want to call that. So he comes looking for Leanne. It spooks Dorothy. Dorothy's like, get the hell out of here. Like, she still doesn't trust him, even though Leanne now does trust him. Okay, now we get to the fun part. Nancy is arriving for the dinner because Dorothy and Leanne and Julian want to meet Sean's new pastor, his newfound faith, and they want to see what she's like. No Vera again. Vera is nowhere to be found.
Something's up with her.
She's in the
Something's
cult.
up with her.
She's 100% in the cult.
And I like that they pointed that out too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liam's like, oh, no Vera. He's like, yeah, no Vera. I don't know.
He's just like, I don't know where she's at. And obviously shit went down. We'll get to it in a second, but you know, 2 of the cult members were killed and she has to know about that if she's involved. And again, they won't eat what you eat. So maybe she didn't want to show up for that. She's in the cult. I'm beyond convinced that she's in the cult. So yeah, I think the reason Vera didn't show up is because shit went down. 2 of the cult members were killed. There's too much going on. And I think she would be noticed by the Church of Leanne, her new followers. So yeah, she's in the cult, and we're going to find that out very soon. Julian thinks Sean taking the job will wake Dorothy up out of her dream-like sequence of the moments that, you know, the dark spot in her mind that she doesn't remember Julian dying, whether it's repressed or whatever the case is. Julian's on the side for Sean not to take it because he thinks it'll wake her up. Dorothy, she then sees the footage of Leanne being attacked, questions her about it, and Leanne goes, "It's okay now. I'm not scared anymore, but I'm not ready." What is she not ready for? Aunt May?
If not Aunt May, whoever is above Aunt May.
The Hook Man?
She's the Hook Man. She's just not ready to take down whatever this cult thing is from the inside, I guess. But
when are we gonna see the Hook Man? When?
I don't know. Do you think they're gonna show us the Hook Man?
I do.
Or do you think that was just something to reel us in?
I do. I think they will show us the Hook Man at some point.
They better show us the Hook Man. But like, could you imagine being Dorothy and having her say that to you? Just like,
yeah.
I'm just not ready.
Just not ready.
What?
Yeah.
What are you getting us into?
She's got the army, she's got powers, but you know, maybe there is someone, maybe the Hook Man that has more powers that could do damage to her. Aunt May's been MIA for so long, I can't even remember the last time. I do want to say something about Uncle George when we're reading comments, so I'll get to that in a little bit. Then they start eating. Nancy is a vegan. Nothing against vegans. Nothing against vegans. But that set off my cult meter. Did it set off yours?
Yes, absolutely. She's like, oh, I thought I told you, after Sean explains this fancy meal that he made for her.
You won't eat it?
Because like, I get it. Like, you're not going to just eat it to be polite if you're vegan. But
yeah. And she even commented
if you're going to someone's house for dinner, I feel like you would tell them that you're a vegan.
Right.
No?
And I she did comment on her outfit when she arrived to Leanne. She was like, "Oh, I like threw this together," and that was the first rule. They won't dress like you'll dress. So like any of the rules, they won't dress like you'll dress. They don't eat the food that you eat, and they'll have scars on their back. Like anytime that any of that shows up, my cult meter goes off, and I'm immediately suspicious of whoever it is.
Yeah. And it's not always exactly how you might have initially interpreted that rule when we're talking about like the plain food, or they won't eat what you eat. It's more like they want plain food than like all this fancy stuff, not necessarily like they won't eat any of the stuff that you're eating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Okay, so the way Dorothy treats Nancy, Jules, I know you had a blast with this, so go ahead, go off.
Dude, I was losing it. Petty, petty, petty. She's asking her, she's like, oh, so do you have some kind of like doctorate in theology? And Nancy goes, oh, I have what'd you say, a master's in divinity. When Dot turns to her and goes, oh, a master's, it's quicker. Good for you.
And then Julian's like, you
him.
got roasted. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
It was probably my favorite part of the episode. It was great.
Yeah,
I love the petty. I'm here for it.
yeah, me too. But then this is when Nancy brings up Sean being on Gourmet Masters last season, and Dorothy's like, what are you talking about? Julian covers and be like, oh, she's forgot my birthday 3 times, because he knows that is the part of her mind that's blocked out. Yeah, she called it baby brain. So she's going to remember at some point. She is. But then,
well, and that's another thing is that, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no,
I just thought of this, like everybody who seems to be associated with this cult is like hell-bent on trying to get Dorothy to remember what happened.
yes, that's what they
So
want.
that's another red flag for Nancy.
Yeah, that's what they
Dresses
want.
weird, doesn't eat the food you want, and is poking around trying to get Dorothy to remember this tragic event that happened.
Yeah, she brought it up. You're right. That's what they want. I mean, that was Aunt Josephine's goal. So maybe waking her up would get rid of Jericho somehow, and then they could have Leanne back. That's something that we could think about. It is. But then boom, the coolest scene. Oh my gosh. Leanne's worshipers come to her rescue. They had the dagger. They could have killed her, the Bucks County couple. But then, man, they just team up and they slaughter these fools, slaughter them, and then kneel down like, yeah, we got your back. And Leanne's like confused. She's like, no, what do you want from me? I'm not like you. And they go, we know you said no to him and you are still here. Leanne goes, aren't you with them? They said, not anymore. So again, we had people comment that before, that they could have been detractors and they got away. That is the case. And they worship Leanne for her tactics of how she got away from the cult, from the Church of Lesser Saints, and they just want to protect her.
And imagine having that many people, just that many eyes watching your back that entire time. Like,
yeah, right.
Now that she is kind of finding a solution for this not feeling safe that she's, been dealing with, I feel like we're really going to see these powers that she has come out, because now she's like, well, now I'm not afraid to use them.
Yeah.
Now I'm not alone. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and she can grow stronger that way. Yeah, for sure. Leanne then uses a Jedi mind trick on Nancy to out her on the harm that she's done in the past. Turns out she has a pretty rotten side. She exposes Nancy's secrets, even saying, did you like hearing her cry when you hit her? And we find out that Julian did some digging, and Nancy was charged with assault on her own mother in 2012. And that's just disgusting. So they were like, how'd you know, Leanne? Obviously it's something to do with her powers, but man, that was a
very heavy scene.
Yeah, she ran out crying, and she said, fuck you to Sean.
The way they did that, like the close-ups on her and how you could just kind of see like her like front breaking down like on her face as she started to cry. Like it was very well filmed, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the shots in this series are beautiful. I love them every time. I think a little bit more of her rebellious side starts to come out, because she feels more comfortable with this protection, as she asked Julian for a joint. He lights for it, doesn't smoke it with her, so he's still sober. But then I love that she gets checked on by the leader of her protectors, and she's like the Godfather now. She's like, I'm good, thanks for checking up on me. It's just like she was so scared of these people, but now she's like, they got my back. I like this. I feel safe. Yeah, I'm good. You can
Yeah, but it's
carry
like
on.
she's got this weird combination going on of, like you said, that like godfather feeling, but also like rebellious teenager, like just kind of acting out for the sake of acting out.
Yeah,
Uh, it's a very weird combo. I'm interested to see where it's going to go
me too.
because it
And
just
then
feels like it's going to lead to some like quick decisions. What is the word I'm looking for here? You
impulsive.
can just cut that out. Impulsive. Thank you.
There you go.
Very
Yeah.
impulsive decision.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Dorothy, curious about what Nancy said to her about Sean being on that show. She watches a footage of him being on it, looks very perplexed, very confused. And I think that goes back to last week when she's like, something's wrong with me. Like something's not right. And she's
Yeah.
starting to notice there's a gap that she just cannot remember. It's blocked out in some way, shape, or form that she just cannot remember it. So we're going to have to see where that plays out next week, whether she starts to remember, and maybe she will remember by the end of this season. We'll see. But then your favorite line from the trailer, Jules, we get it. God didn't bring back Jericho, when Leanne says that. Sean's like, then who did? Because he believes that God had something to do with it. That's why he's getting in touch with his religious side. And now he's all confused. God didn't bring back Jericho. And then she pushes Sean to take the job. And that goes back to not only that she'll protect Jericho, but remember when he was on TV, she's like, you're going to be a star. I know it. Goes back to that.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I didn't even think of that.
That's where we're at for this episode. I thought it was fantastic. It was real fun.
Mhm.
Let's get your theories in. Okay, so I know we got a couple comments, Jules.
Let's see. All right, so this one is from Andy Moody. And Andy says, in the hair episode, Roscoe said that he was seeing a family member in the hospital when Julian asked him where he was. Makes me wonder if he was there with Uncle George, since we haven't seen him since he was hit by the car. It just seems like a strange thing to throw into the episode, and he was kind of evasive with that answer. If it was his wife or kids, you would think he would definitely tell his friend who it was. In my mind, Roscoe is definitely still attached to the cult with the way he's stalking around in the background.
So get your comments in on Andy's thoughts about Roscoe, because that is such a great call. Like, who was he visiting in the hospital? And if it was Uncle George, that'd be nuts. He could still be under influence. He wouldn't go in the house. He's scared of the house. He showed up at that block party just looking. I think he is under their control. So great call there, Andy. And let's get thoughts in on that, please.
This one I found very interesting. I couldn't find the original comment, but this is from the Funny Guys 785. Just saw another comment that someone wrote about their name meanings. So Sean means God is gracious. Dorothy means gift from God. Leanne means merciful. And Jericho is city where Jesus performed miracles, which is just wild and definitely on purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
But what an intricate detail to notice. Thank you so much for that comment.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I'm thinking about even more things.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. And shows do that. Like Breaking Bad did that with colors, where initially they had Walter White with white and beige, and then it led to him wearing black. They had other people wearing purple, supposed to be the royalty, or it was Hank's family. So yeah, shows do that type of thing all the time. All right, so great episode. I want to thank you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment. That's how you can get that $50 gift card. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of Servant Season 3. So if you guys could help us out with that, that'd be greatly appreciated. We love making these videos. We love the commentary, and we love talking to you guys. So as always, have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.